How's it going, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be doing a review of the book The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Peale. The Power of Positive Thinking is best for those who are either into Christianity or don't mind a really heavy framing of Christianity and also want to learn some positive thinking techniques. Also, those who don't mind repetition. Difficulty to digest. The Power of Positive Thinking is really easy to digest. There's not anything too crazy in there. It's a little bit dated, so some of the phrasing might be a little old, but it's pretty easy to understand. And then all of the concepts are backed up by a huge number of stories. Key insights. So, The Power of Positive Thinking is definitely heavily Christian, and sprinkled throughout, there are a couple of validated ideas for increasing positive thinking or general well-being or reframing, those kinds of things. Each point in the book is outlined and then backed up with quite a few stories, so it's really easy to follow. One of the main themes in The Power of Positive Thinking is visualizing and expecting good outcomes and positive outcomes. So a lot of the book focuses on different habits that you can build or exercises that you can do to have these kinds of visualizations, or just generally expect and see better outcomes for yourself so that you're more able to reach them. Now, the book definitely talks about that heavily through the lens of faith, although you don't necessarily need that particular framing to get use out of some of the ideas. Another theme that comes up is putting, helpful messages into your mind. Again, heavily influenced by scriptures and Christianity. But again, the idea of just getting positive mantras into your mind and having them available is generally a useful tactic. Another major theme in The Power of Positive Thinking is slowing down and being intentional. So there's quite a bit of speaking about people just trying to get too much done, go too fast, feel like they never have any free time, and also kind of the idea that people are just mindlessly doing task after task. So there's a focus on really stepping back, slowing down. If you're feeling that way, seeing what you can do to put yourself back in a place of peace and calm and move more slowly so that you don't have this constant stress building up and having negative physical effects on you as well. All in all, The Power of Positive Thinking is a fairly long read, but really easy to follow along with. And there are quite a few stories, so it's not a difficult read, but it does get pretty repetitive at times. So, final opinion, The Power of Positive Thinking is definitely a Christian book, as you've probably heard me mention a few times. So it's only going to be useful probably for those who fit squarely into that camp or don't really care that it fits into that camp. The other piece is that it hasn't aged especially well, right? It's a little bit older. Some of the concepts are outdated. So for most people, this is not going to be the best, most straightforward resource that you can find. And I'm going to recommend that you probably look elsewhere. But if it happens to fit into that narrow niche of fitting your exact religion, and you don't mind that it's a little bit older, and you don't mind plugging through a ton of stories, then you might be able to pull some value out of it. Other considerations. So this book was recommended to me as just kind of a general self-help, personal development resource. After reading through it, it is definitely nothing of the sort. It is extremely heavily Christian. Pretty much every other sentence has something to do with God or faith or scripture verse. So it's certainly not a general resource, right? It is a very niche resource. And I wish that someone would have made that more clear to me going into it, because I thought maybe it had a couple little themes here and there, but it is definitely the underlying main theme throughout the entire book. And like I mentioned before, there are a number of sections that have not aged especially well or just don't stand up very well anymore. So, for example, it uses the words introversion and loneliness almost interchangeably. And that's not really a fair characterization of being introverted or really a fair understanding of what it is. So there are a number of things like that spread throughout the book that, even though some of those ideas are still pervasive today, they're not well thought out, or at least not up to the most standard body of knowledge right now. So you can end up, a little bit confused or off the path of things that are going to be the most useful. On to the reflection questions. 1. What are your expectations of future outcomes? 2. How often do you feel rushed? How can you slow down and feel more balanced? 3. What content do you generally consume? Does it increase calm or reduce it? So I hope that helps you get the idea of what the power of positive thinking is all about. Again, really only going to recommend it for people who are Christian and want a personal development book that's a little bit older and really heavily influenced by those themes. Otherwise, you're probably going to be better served by other resources. That's all I've got for this video. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, topics you want me to cover, throw them down in the box below. I'll get to them as soon as I can, and I will see you next time.
You can check out more content at howtohappy.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the videos. We've also got a Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook that you can check out. Reflect, take action, and enjoy life. See you next time.